I also spoke about I think string, int, double, bool, and I think these were the few I spoke about. Yes, and I gave a few examples which you can refer in my from yesterday's recording. So I said yesterday that today we will jump directly to creating our first mobile application. So to do that, I'll be sharing my screen. We will do that using our Android Studio, inshallah. So I'll get my Android Studio, open it. I'm sure by now, if you had followed the tutorial up to now, you should be aware about how to set up your Android Studio and get everything working up to the settings I have here, inshallah. Okay, so with Android Studio, if you already have a project that you were working on, when you open it, it will take you directly to the project's files. But to start a new project, you have to go to File on top here, and then you say Close Project. So I'm closing this current project that is opened. All right, so this project has been closed. By default, this is how you should see your Android Studio. Now, to create our first mobile app, I'll click on Create New Flutter Project. Since I said earlier that we are going to be using Flutter to build mobile applications. And the beauty with Flutter is that when you use it to build your app can run on both Android and then iOS at the same time. So you can deploy it to Android phones, you can deploy it to the Apple phones, and even you can deploy it to what? To browsers or desktop applications. So it's a very, very, what do you call it? Nice platform. So you click on Create New Flutter Project. If you don't see this Create New Flutter Project, it means that you probably have missing something from our previous tutorial. You haven't installed the Dart and then the, what do you call it? The Flutter plugins, which I showed you earlier. All right, so I'm going to create new Flutter project. Then I'll select Flutter application. The first option here is the default option. Then I'll go to next. So here you'll be asked of your what? Your project name. That is the name of your application, okay? So I can say my first, let me just do one word, Flutter, my first Flutter app, for example, like this. Then when you come to description here, you can put a description or you can leave it. You can say my first Flutter app. You go to next. This package name here, you can leave it as it is, or you can update the com.example here. The packaging is just a way to make your app unique. That's just what it means here. Then you click on finish. So when you click on finish, it will set up your project for you and also put in some demo, what do you call it, code. This is a demo code for a very basic Flutter app. Okay, so what I'll do is that right now we have our project created. but I'll first of all have to, I'll just run it for you to see what this code does. So I'll click here and I'll run this particular emulator. I'm going to run my emulator. And I said earlier, the emulator is going to be like a virtual phone whereby I can run mobile apps on it. So the emulator is going to run very soon. Oh, come on. What is this? Can't believe I'm having this error. Hold on, let me see. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm trying to get my emulator to be working. Just a minute. I think my emulator has freezed a little bit. Oh, oh my God. I think my emulator is trying to freeze. I don't know why, but let me off it and on it again and see. Hmm. Okay, so since my emulator is trying to be troublesome, maybe I'll have to do a cold boot. First of all, I'll stop it from running. And then I will do a cold boot here. Yeah, so I'm going to do a cold boot. A cold boot is like restarting your PC. That's what it's like. Guys, can you see my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'm just trying to get my emulator running so that I'll launch the project we have just created. This is the
Uh,
emulator we are seeing. That looks like a phone. It's just a virtual phone. And in the previous meetings we had, I actually did a tutorial about how to create something like this. So maybe when you refer to previous tutorials, you can create one for yourself. Because I'm cold booting the device, it will take a while to come up. Alright, so let me let's do something else whilst we wait for it to come up. Okay, so when we created the project, this project for the first time, you realize that it comes with all these plenty codes. Okay. So one thing you have to note in programming is that, have you seen this double slash and then with some writings? Anything that is written with a double slash before it is treated as a comment. So it's no more a code. The computer will not what? Actually read it to execute. So basically you can see they are faded. It's just a way of putting instructions in your code. So I think that to make things clearer, let me just delete, some of the comments like this. All right, so okay, so I think our emulator is, I think, almost launched. Let me see. All right, good, 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 good. We have got our emulator working. Okay, so if your emulator is working, you can click this green button to push your code, your app to the emulator. The emulator is actually this one selected here. So when I click this button, it's going to install it here so that we can actually use it or see how it works. So just wait a while and you see the codes and then the app that we have that comes with it. Right, so the process is happening here. When it's completed, you will see the app launching here on the emulator.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Yep. So sorry. I had to pick a local call. That's why I muted my mic. Yeah, so I was just waiting for the app to come here. After the app comes, I
Okay.
want to talk about something. The app we are going to build, we are going to build a very simple app whereby when somebody opens the app, your picture would display in the middle of the app. That's the simple app we are going to make. So I'm going to probably show you how to bring your picture into the project here, and then how to display it on the app, and then how to launch it and see how it looks. That's the first thing we'll do for today. Then subsequent lectures will be building upon that same, what do you call it? That same concept. I'll be sharing with you an app design for you to see on WhatsApp, the kind of app we are going to build. If you have access to your WhatsApp now, you can check it. I'm going to share with you the main design that we are going to look at building. Inshallah. Okay, so guys, can you check your WhatsApp, the group page? Does someone have access to his WhatsApp right now that you can check?
Yes.
Check that. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a
Yeah.
profile app, an app that will show your profile. So today we are just going to talk about how to bring in an image,
Right.
how to put your image. Okay. Yes. Yeah. So all of you, you've seen it, right? How does it look? Are you excited to build an app that would display your information like that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Great.
it's blank. I can see it.
Yeah, so this will be our the first goal. Then after, if time permits, we would doing more other apps. Perhaps an app that maybe a quiz app, or maybe an app for an institution, an app for a business, in that order. Then I'll show you how to continue to build upon your knowledge. You know, mobile
Inshallah.
application is an ongoing area that you keep learning and growing and building upon the knowledge you have. That will help you build more apps that are even complex and complex. Okay, so basically you see the app that you see here, Flutter demo homepage. This is all the code that you have here. This is what it's translating to. So when you create an app by default, you see something like this. When you create a file, you see something like this. Then you will now change the code for your needs. Now what this code does is that when I click this plus button, it will update this counter, this 0 here. You see that the numbers are changing. Upon every press, when I press this, it will be counting. It will be counting. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
So that's what all about what this app does. Okay, it's just a demo app. All right, so I'm going to show you something. First of all, I'm going to show you how to bring your picture into the working area. That is the Android Studio. Okay. Now you see this projects tab. That is like where all the files of your app will be. Under the project tab, you can see this lib folder. It's a short form for library. You click it, then you see this main dot dot. That's this particular file there. The main dot dot is the, what do you call, the initial page where the when you run the app, that's the initial page that it will start to execute. That's the main dot dot here. Now, if you want to add your own, what do you call it, picture, you may have to create another folder under this library folder or lib folder like this. I'll right click. When I right click, I'll go to new and then I'll select what? Package. When I click on package, I'll give it a name. And images are stored under assets, okay? So I'm going to create a folder called assets. These assets will contain my pictures. So the picture I'm going to upload, I'll be putting it here. So watch what I'm gonna do. I'm going to my file and I'm going to look for probably a picture of me. Okay, so I've got this particular picture. I would like to use that one for the start. So I'm going to copy it. Now, when I copy it, I'll come to this assets folder, right click and say what? Paste. Then they will ask me if I want to what? Give it a name. I'll probably give it a name called Muda. Then I click on refactor. So you wait a while, click here, and then you will see that my picture has been brought in here. If I double click on it, you will see it open here. So that's my picture here. All right. After you bring in the picture, you have to go to this file called pubspec.yaml. This file, we have to do something like register. We have to register this particular picture we have added here. So to do that, you just go down here. Good. You go down here. Okay. I'm being told our meeting will end in 10 minutes, but feel free, when it ends, kindly rejoin again. Our Zoom session hasn't been renewed, that's why. So now, to add access to your application, you can see there are already comments here. To add access to your application, add an access session like this. Access semicolon, then you put in, what do you call it, your image. Okay, so let's do, this. Let's do this. So in my case, I will say access slash moda.gpg like this. Assets slash moda.gpg. Okay, take note of how I'm putting spaces before the dash like this. When you are done, then you click this pub.get. Just wait a while for it to expected what a keyword person block mapping. Okay, let me bring this here. Okay, so let me do this quickly. I'm going to create another package. Or images. And I'll put this image here. Then I'll run the pub.get. Okay. Okay. Pub.get. So you have to click this pub.get so you do not get any error here. And it tells you that everything is finished. So I don't have any error. So what I've just done is I've registered the image I have, which is inside the images folder here. Okay. So I'm just telling the Android Studio that if you go to images folder / moodle.gpg, it's a picture under what? Images folder. That's what it means. So take note of this spacing that I've kept here. They are very important. And the spacing from there to there, they are also very important. Otherwise, you may get some errors. Okay. So now back to okay, so when you come here, you'll be asked to just get dependencies for this error to go away. Okay, so in Flutter, now this is the beginning of the main dot that I said is the execution page. Now you can see we have this code here, void main. Void main is the what? The entry point. Inside it, we have run app, my app. Now this my app corresponds to this particular my app that you have here. So it's simply telling the app or mobile phone that my code, all your app codes is inside here. That's in between this bracket open all the way to the end here. Now, inside this code, I wouldn't want to talk much about all these things you see here, class, extend, widget, you know, as these are terms that maybe it will take a while to explain. I will do that in our subsequent tutorials. But I just want us to get straight to the point where we can, what do we call it? We can just create a simple app to display our image on the screen. So now, this is my app. I want to create something which we can also use. So I'll type ST. I'm going to create a stateless widget. Okay. When I type ST, I'll get the option to what? Select the stateless widget. Then I'll say maybe my profile like this. I'll give it a name called my profile. Okay, good. Okay, so Or let's do this. Let's create a stateful widget rather. Stateful widget. And say my profile. Okay. So I'm just getting a little error here. That says that I should set my minimum SDK constraint to 2.12.0 or higher in my what popspec.yaml. So minimum SDK 2.12.0. So I'll come here popspec.yaml and then I'll just change this minimum SDK. Where are you? Let me see. 2.12. So I'll say 2.12.0. Okay. I'll do pop get. Wait a while for it to run. All right, so my error should run away by now. Yes, my error should run away by now anyway. Okay, so now we have this return that says return what? Container. That says return container. Now what I can do, I can say return scaffold like this. Then inside my scaffold, I'll have an app bar. Well, you just, okay, let me ignore this app bar now and then go ahead with a body. Go ahead with a what? A body like this. And this body, I can give it, I can make it a container. I can make it a container. And inside the container, I will now have my circle. I want to upload an image. So I will say maybe image asset. Okay, so the container will need a child.